Alright, that's audio in. Looks like it's recording. So let's go across to OBS and get video in. Looks good. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Newbie Rumble, episode 5? Season 5, episode random exhibition matches. That's what we're doing. So it turns out yesterday I missed one ship. I have no idea how I managed that, but I did. So, just because we can, we're going to go through a bunch of matches with this. Todd the Tide Pod's submission, the USCG Renaissance. Who are you up against? District 5. No. That's probably the Prosecutor. So far the Prosecutor has been the most happy middle ground as submissions for this have gone. So I'm going to keep using it, and we can scale up and down the enemy strength based on how we do. There's the Prosecutor, which I'm sure everyone's familiar with, and let's see this thing. Renaissance. Looks very nice. I love the bridge. Not enough ships get submitted with bridge, and not enough ships get submitted with the chair and fire computer still in it. I wonder if there's a steering wheel hidden somewhere under. What do we have here? That's an interesting setup. Yes. Is this a mimic? Might be a mimic. So these are, I'm guessing, anti-missiles of some kind, but hard to... Let's load in the barrels. There we go. Teams. I can't check the composition of anything. That's fine. What are you, a repair bot? Okay, we've got some repair bots. Something's going on in these channels. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's a... something very interesting's going on. I wonder if this was constructed with mods or in a different version of the game, because what tends to happen is if a block isn't in the version I'm running these on, this is the latest beta test, so it should have all the blocks, but if it doesn't, then it converts them to wooden cubes. So hopefully that's not going to mess with the armor too much. We're missing one, two... Was that a 5-meter beam? Interesting thing to add. We're missing some kind of transitional piece here. We'll keep that in mind. We've got some missiles. More missiles. I like the vertical launch system we've got going on here. It's going to be interesting to watch. We've got... What's behind the applique? Another missile launch system. And you gave it a whole room. That's nice. Ooh, harpoons. That is going to be interesting. A lot of empty space back here. Is there anything tricky? Just boilers. Now those... That is some good spin block trickery. I like that. Might maybe count as... Nah, I wouldn't count that as clipping. That is pretty cool. So far... Can we check the cost? 1/3 cost. So likely undergunned. Armor scheme's a little bit messed up. Sensors, as best I can tell, look good. Yeah, let's see how it does. Some early hits from the Prosecutor, and some big missiles coming out. I'm not seeing the harpoon. There we go. Maybe these are decoys. They're looking like... See, the odd thing is... I think that's... What's the head on that? Radar decoy, maybe? I'm having a hard time telling. The vertical launch missile tubes, surprisingly not damaged yet. The side armor is getting pounded off. I mean, it's alloy, so I think it's alloy. So that's not too surprising. Especially against such a big gun as what the Prosecutor has. Ooh, something got shot down. I wonder what this is armed with. This gun is an interesting one to me. It can't be that big. Let's see how much damage we're doing. It's an interesting bit of guidance. Are these remote guided? It's a solid hit. And you've landed some decent hits on the Deady Blade compartment. Unfortunately, that big gun is still firing. And these are small missiles, if I remember correctly. Yeah, can't make it. Staying at range is paying off for the Renaissance. 50k, it's a shame you don't have some kind of rear gun. Actually, what's going on in here? More missiles, torpedoes? I wonder why they aren't working. Maybe something got damaged. Only one layer of a fleet guarding that compartment. That's not what you want. And we're starting to see damage to the missile launchers on the deck as well. They look great, but structurally not ideal. Oh no, we've got a double-layered hull. Double layer doesn't do as much as you think it would in the Newbie Rumble. I learned that the hard way in Newbie Rumble 3. I think I had double layer with like a small liner behind it, and it did not stand up to the hits I was taking. I would really recommend going to 3 or 4 meters if you can. If you can afford it, obviously with a longer ship with more hull to armor, it becomes prohibitive. But what's a missile component? Like a 200 for the tube, 400, 500 for the launcher? For the amount you're paying, $5 a 4 meter armor beam, you could have 4 or 5 meters of armor before it becomes unviable. Because it's better to lose 5 meters of armor than to lose a missile tube. Ooh dear. That was a complex bit of mimic work, wasn't it? How's the ship doing? The large rudder's taken some hits. And I'm not sure about roll stability. Ooh. Did you have, what are they called? Hydrofoils on you? Did you have a rudder controlling pitch? I'm not sure, but this probably isn't ideal. Oh no, starting to roll back up. I'm actually quite impressed. It is a nice ship. The weaknesses are evident, but the beauty of the design also quite evident. I don't know why this turret won't track across far enough to fire, because it could have been firing this whole time. What's going on in there? Ah, yeah, the turret was in there. Ooh dear, we're rolling again. It is fast. Can I see the speed from here? Top speed, 29 meters per second. So, pretty good. Ah, we've lost both rudders. Never a good sign. That explains the, Ooh, will these... Are those sonar decoys? They're bobbing at depth, which implies that they are. It's a shame there's not many torpedoes for them to decoy. Oh, that is nice. I love that. And what is that? Health below 70%? It lights up. Health below 65. That is really nice. I get to feel smug now because I actually have a few of those on my submission for Newbie Rumble 5, but unfortunately, I haven't taken enough damage for them to activate yet. Doing really well. The Prosecutor has a huge gun on it, getting absolutely pounded, and yet still floating 6 minutes in. This looks fatal though. And the Renaissance is out. Let's see. Not a particularly fair fight, getting your weapons knocked out that early. The Prosecutor's bad for losing weapons too, but I don't think any of those missiles were heat, so I don't think they had the opportunity to cut the gun off. If it had, this would have been a much longer and much more even fight. Just for fun, let's change the teams around and have a look at what the Renaissance is actually carrying. Tell me about this gun. You're firing a heat shell, so it's unfortunate that this gun couldn't get to work because it should have been firing just fine. There's no constraints on the gun. Maybe there's a constraint on the turret. Ooh, interesting. 1 meter loaders. Are they belt-fed loaders? Not super great armor. Where's the turret block? Is that it? That explains the limited rotation, because this computer piece is going to be locking you in. If you put the computer piece one space higher up where this block of alloy is, you wouldn't have that issue. In fact, I can't build on it, otherwise I'd do it. Let's see, what's the restriction on the firing piece, if there is one? No restriction, which explains why it was jamming. What else? That's one thing you can touch up. What are these missiles? Lure, interesting. Lure's not actually allowed in this tournament, conventionally. Explosive, shape charge. So these are heat. So these would have been quite solid. You could probably switch that to remote guidance. They're only small missiles. You only need like one card to get them to be remote guided, and then it's tournament legal. Don't know what I can do about all these missing blocks. Let's see. You could put some cameras in here too. I know it might ruin the nuclear disarm. Now that is interesting. I don't want to mess with that just in case it breaks something, but that's really cool. These are heat, certainly. Shape charge, yeah. Lure again. Slightly more cards to run those. Are these regular explosive? Sonar target simulators. Yeah, solid. That is a lot of decoys, a lot of money to spend on decoys. And I think they were firing without a trigger because the Prosecutor doesn't have any torpedoes. Radar target simulator, harpoon, fuel tank. Yeah. I don't actually know what that is. This might be new. That is interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that. What is this? Another small heat launcher. Solid. I think that was... No, there was some kind of missile launcher down in the hull, wasn't there? Let's find... that's not what you want. RTGs. Very expensive for very little payoff. I strongly recommend you not use RTGs. Because it takes about 3 to 10 hours, I forget the math. It's a long time before they become more material efficient than just a decent steam engine. Fuel engine, even longer. Like, they're okay in tournaments where you have virtually no materials to work with, because it lets you convert, shipbuilding budget into material budget, but pretty much all other times you're better off without. Propeller. So we have roll stability. Is this, is that mimicked? Maybe these are exposed to the water. Wouldn't they have, issues with being blocked? Maybe they're spin blocks. Maybe they're sub-objects and they don't have those issues. Wooden dividing wall is an interesting choice. That's a situation where a stone or a pleak would probably do better, just because it's more durable and does it even... yeah, it works. Like, the big issues you have inside your ship are high explosive. Even one layer of metal is enough to stop high explosive and fragments. But the wood will get broken through quickly, so if you're using it's probably not that desperate. Probably not that big of a deal. Shield generator. Now that is interesting. So we do have shields. Unfortunately, they would have only had, what, a 40% chance to block at best? Heavy armor. What's the heavy armor protecting? Where'd it go? Here? AI compartment. These ACBs are interesting. At start, we'll turn on ACBs. There's the fire controller. Yeah. You've got a lot of wireless transmitter. They're all in different channels. That explains that. This is some really complex stuff you've got going on in there. I don't know where to start with the different channels. Is that what? Are you using different aim point cards, maybe? I don't know. It's... here's what I was looking for. All these launch out the stern? What are they? Ballast tank, fin, interceptor. You're using... these are your torpedo interceptors. And conveniently, they shoot in the same direction as your sonar buoys. Sonar buoys. Very interesting. Now let's see what the harpoons are all about. Unguided, which is interesting. Maybe there's some new way of guiding them that I don't know about. That's interesting. What are the harpoons for? Anyway. Yeah, it's a very interesting design. You could probably stick a diff gun on the stern there quite easily. Swap out some of the alloy for metal because you're pretty buoyant. Pull out the RTGs, replace them with something like a steam engine, save you a ton of budget. This ship has potential. I mean, there's only so much you can do to protect these things. These are... actually, maybe that's mimics, and they're actually like way more heavily armored than I think, but no, it looks like they are just plates. Anyway, let's see, how long have I been talking to myself for? 18 minutes? That's probably a good place to cut it. I'll take the video out and audio out. Thanks for watching.